Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Smurti Vedanto Swami Iti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Goro Ani Pacharine Nirvisesa Sunyati Paschati Deshatarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Jai Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaur Bhaktavinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare.
Nimisha Mataji, please.
Yes, Prabhuji. Yes, Prabhuji.
Could you chant Hare Krishna Mahamantra? We all will chant Hare Krishna Mahamantra once because Umapati Prabhu has chanted the Prabhupada mantra and Panchatattva mantra. So we all will chant Hare Krishna Mahamantra once.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Very good. Sundari Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Thank you, Mataji. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah.
I will have a go. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So I request Anil Prabhu, then Ram Prabhu. It doesn't have to be the exactly same tune. Whichever tune you can sing from the bottom of your heart. Anil Prabhu, please.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Thank you so much, Anil Prabhu. Then offering our prayers for the departed soul, Krishnavani Mataji's father. So Ram Prabhu, could you please chant Hare Krishna once?
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Thank you so much. Thank you, everybody. So after offering our prayers, Krishnavani Mataji, would you like to say something as a memory tribute to your father?
Memory tribute.
Whatever, if you would like to say briefly, you don't have to, but if you would feel like sharing something at this moment.
Right? Yeah, that, like recently, before he was atheist, but slowly he started, like listening to, like, I just always say thanks to WhatsApp. Because if any good messages comes about Krishna or Rama and anything from, like devotees, Hare Krishna chanting, anything good, I will just send him. So mostly he will listen and then he will say Dhanyavad. So, and and then he also, before he wasn't believing God, but then when he sees a scientist has proved something, that, like Lord Rama's, the Setu Bandh was, that was covered in the sea, and those scientists has found out. So, the research is like this, he will send me. And then I said, oh, so slowly I found that at least he's getting some kind of faith that, yes, this, like, he sometimes feel last time when I went that I'm mad, because I all the time, God, Krishna, 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 because he doesn't believe in God. But then he sometimes, he also asked me, is it, like people watch, like Mahabharat, like Ramayana and things like that. And they keep on watching and still they don't get satisfied. I said that is the difference between spiritual, like dramas and stories and material stories. Because if you watch films, then you can maybe 5, 10 times, but then you get fed up that you don't want to watch because you know the story. And then, like as he started sending me, then I was started sending him some more spiritual, like messages. And then he was listening. Before sometimes he started, like answering me Jai Sri Krishna. If I say, then he will say it. He won't say Hare Krishna because he thinks like Hare Krishna is another type of cult. So I said, doesn't matter. Even if you say Jai Shri Krishna, it's fine. But then recently I noticed that if I say Jai Shri Krishna, I say, how are you, beta? This, that. But then he won't say Hare Krishna, Jai Shri Krishna. I said, doesn't matter. As long as you are hearing, that is more important. And when I send, then you read or listen, that is also important. So at least you are listening from for Krishna. So just 2 weeks, a week or 2 weeks ago, he sent me a beautiful documentary of Dwarkadam. How the Bet Dwarka was, like discovered and all these things. And I sent a message. I became a little bit brave, and I said, "What do you think, Papa? Is Krishna is like a myth, or Krishna, or is he a historical person or is a myth?" But he didn't answer. But at least he was listening, is fine. And then this last video I sent about, Hare Krishna, the devotees, those, those Madhavas band, they were, like some person from America, they sponsored some child's birthday. And then they cooked and they were distributing prasad. And in there, they were distributing, and on the side, they were, like also singing Hare Krishna mantra. Because as like he was a little bit, because of his health, he was quarantined and he was in a separate room. So he was alone. So I said, look, Papa, he was getting a bit bored. I said, you can listen to this. And I checked and it's all blue ticks. I said, at least he has either heard or looked. So hopefully, but he had a little bit of Krishna consciousness and he was hearing, listening. So I also sent him Bhagavad Gita and things. I said, when you get time, Papa, read this, listen this. Because his hearing was getting bad now. He was nearly 88. So I said, all right, then you watch or read. So little bit he was getting all this. And by Krishna's mercy, he also left on Ekadashi. And the good thing is he did not suffer. On Friday, I talked to him. He was fine. He was just a little bit weak. Then I thought, okay, yesterday was Ekadasi, so I'll bring him today. But then I just received the news that he is left. But I'm glad that he left on Ekadashi, and also he did not suffer. He was just had some breathlessness, but he left peacefully. So that was one good thing that, Krishna, he does look after his devotees and he reciprocates in his own way. So I'm glad.
That's
And I'm worried a little bit of my mom, because mom at the moment she's alone. She's in a separate room. And yesterday when they admitted, they what do they call? They tested him, and he got corona positive. He came out positive, but until now they didn't know. Then they checked my mom, and my mom is also positive, but she does not have any symptoms.
Oh.
So now they put her in quarantine. So for, I think, for 14 days or few days, until she comes negative, she will be in the room. But the only sad thing is we cannot contact her on the phone or anything. So after a few days, maybe some situation happen and I'll be able to talk to her. Because, for her, when Papa was there, he was operating all this modern technology, phones and everything. So we used to talk to her. So let's see. But
Thank you.
please, I'm so glad all the devotees are praying for him. So at least he had a better future. That's one good thing of Srila Prabhupada. We have such a big family and we get so much help from everybody.
Very true. Thank you so much, Mataji, and sharing those things. And you did very well by doing your best. And your father is certainly very auspicious, very pious soul, very special soul. And you did your best by trying to water the seed and cultivate Krishna consciousness in him. That's amazing. And we all chanted Hare Krishna Maha Mantra once.
Yeah, thank you.
Dipti Mataji and Bharati Mataji, they just joined. And I request if Dipti Mataji would like to chant Hare Krishna Maha Mantra once, then Bharati Mataji.
I can't. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Dipti Mataji. We, is Dipti Mataji? Oh, she is muted. Dipti Mataji is not muted now. Oh, maybe
Can you
Dipti
hear me?
Mataji can't talk. Bharti Mataji, could you chant, recite Hare Krishna Maha Mantra once?
Yes, sir. So Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Thank you so much. I think Dipti Mataji has muted. She's not able to talk at the moment. Seems like that. If my humble reminder is, if anybody would like to say something, please indicate with raising your hands. With your there is an option to raise the hands, and before you speak, please unmute. So when one person is speaking, the rest of us will be on mute, so that it won't take too much of bandwidth. Today we will begin from text 21. Nimisha Mataji is going to read text 21. Is that okay, Nimisha Mataji?
Yes, Prabhuji, it's fine. Yes,
Yeah.
Prabhuji, it's fine.
Prabhu, sorry, what chapter is it again?
5.
Okay, thank you.
So I can read when we are ready.
Can you? Okay, go back.
Please go ahead, Mataji. It's a text of rest of the devotees, chapter 5, text 21. Thank you.
Okay, so chapter 5, text 21. Bhaya sparsava ashaktatma vidyati atmani yat sukham. Sa brahma yoga yuktatma sukham akshayam asnute. Bahyasparsasu, in external sense pleasure, asakta atma, one who is not attached, vindati, enjoys, atmani, in the self, yat, that which, sukham, happiness, sa, he, brahma yoga, by concentration in Brahman, yukta atma, self-connected, sukham, happiness, akshayam, unlimited, asnute, enjoys. So the translation, such a liberated person is not attracted to material sense pleasure, but he is always in trance, enjoying the pleasure within. In this way, the self-realized person enjoys unlimited happiness, for he concentrates on the Supreme. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. Sri Yamunacharya, a great devotee in Krishna consciousness, said, Yad avadimam cheta Krishna padarvinde nava nava rasadamani yuktatma rantum asit. Tat avati batanari sangame smaryamane bhavati mukta vikra sastu nishtivam cha. Since I have been engaged in the transcendental loving service of Krishna, realizing ever new pleasure in him, whenever I think of sex pleasure, I spit on that thought, and my lips curl with distaste. A person in Brahma Yoga or Krishna consciousness is so absorbed in the loving service of the Lord that he loses his taste for material sense pleasure altogether. The highest pleasure in terms of matter is sex pleasure. The whole world is moving under its spell. The materialist cannot work at all without his motivation. But a person engaged in Krishna consciousness can work with greater vigor without sex pleasure, which he avoids. That is the taste in spiritual realization. Spiritual realization and sex pleasure go ill together. A Krishna conscious person is not attracted to any kind of sense pleasure due to his being a liberated soul. Hare Krishna. So, Prabhuji, what I have read is like we've been reading about how the lamentation and the attachment with our senses and how it gives us sometimes a pleasure and sometimes discontentment from the previous lokas. So the highest pleasure in this world, for the soul, it thinks soul always wants to connect to Krishna, but the pleasure seeking in the material body form is the senses, which we think that is the most attractive when one feels like more satisfied. But in Krishna consciousness, it is said that towards the end of chapter 2, where I was reading last few verses, where Prabhupada says in 2.61 particularly, the highest pleasure is to become Krishna conscious. We are eternal part of Krishna, and we can derive pleasure only by the association with Krishna. But as we have come here in this world to enjoy matter, we become bound and expressing the pleasure seeking mentally by fulfilling lust in the form of sexual exploitation. As Krishna says in different verses in Bhagavad Gita, he also says a similar thing in verse 15.7, where he says, living entities in this conditional world are my eternal fragmental parts due to conditioned life. They are struggling very hard with the six senses, which includes mind. But if one, my understanding is from what I'm reading is if one tries to attach to the higher taste, then the lower taste like sense gratification automatically sort of discontinues from yourself, and you try to connect to Krishna all the time. So with the mercy of Guru direction, the knowledge, we try and attach ourselves more to the service, the study, getting knowledge, and sadhana that gives us the intelligence to stay connected to Krishna consciousness. There are in last few slokas in this chapter, we have learned that the higher attachment comes from sort of like giving away the results of our karmas, where we try to control our emotions by having more tolerance, by becoming detached from the sense gratification. We also stay neutral with the results of our karma, so we don't feel too joyful or too distressed when the results don't come as per our expectation. We just take it as a Krishna's mercy or Krishna's plans that it didn't work or it worked. And we always try and have the emotions of love for God than for anything else. And that actually helps us to stay away from the sense gratification.
Thank you so much, Mataji. That's very well presented. Thank you so much for referring to the purport and the verses from chapter 2.
Yes.
As you reminded, the 259 is beautiful. Visaya vinirvartante niraharasya dehina raso varjam rasopyasya param drishtva nivartate. And the translation is, though the embodied soul may be restricted from sense enjoyment, the taste for sense objects remains, but seizing such engagements by experiencing the higher taste, he is fixed in consciousness. And you very well presented. That's very good. And Prabhupada, on the lecture we shared few days ago in the group, Prabhupada mentions the word Atmaram. And Atmaram shloka is in Srimad Bhagavatam. And in Chaitanya Charitamrita, on that Atmaram shloka, Lord Chaitanya gave 18 different meanings. And it is mentioned there. And then Sanatan Goswami asked for the different meanings of Atmaram shloka in Chaitanya Charitamrita, which we can study after few years or whatever. So Atmaram, a self-realized liberated soul, is Atmaram. He is internally happy because he has achieved the higher taste, as you have said. As you have said, once the person achieves the higher taste, he automatically abandons, he is not attached with the lower taste. And the sex pleasure is mentioned here. And the people in illusion, they think sense pleasure is the highest and it is the aim of life. But in fact, every activity that is purely for the sense pleasure, it leads to misery at the end. Any activity, even if we go for holiday, if we go to seaside, forgetting Krishna just for holiday, no preaching, nothing, you have gone for holiday, you may end up either visa problem, passport problem, or some theft or some accident. Most of the people, they go for holiday, they come back, they always complain. They go for holiday for enjoyment, but end of the day they complain. Something always goes wrong. Either there is problem with food in the restaurant, something is there. So, but devotees, they are attached with the devotional service. Rishikena Rishikesa Sevanam Bhaktir Uchyate. They emphasize in gratifying the senses of Rishikesa, Lord Krishna, not their own senses. Thank you so much. Anybody would like to add anything? Please unmute yourself and say something if you would like to add. Otherwise, we will move to text 22.
Can I ask a question, please?
Yes, sure, Surya Prabhu.
You ended the shloka in a very nice place, like make all the senses of Rishikesha happy. Rishikesh, huh? Please correct me if I say wrong, Lord Krishna's name. Now, if I want to make all his senses happy, like we can offer Jagannath ji food, but how do I make him happy in all ways? It's a very exciting challenge. How do we do that, Prabhu?
How do we make Jagannath happy?
No, all the senses of Jagannath ji happy.
Oh,
I thought you were saying make all the senses of Lord Krishna happy. Is that not what you said?
it is whatever you do. It's not all the senses because Krishna anganiyasya sakalendriya vritti manti. That means Krishna's eye, Krishna can see with his toes, Krishna can see with his head, and Krishna can eat with his knee. Because one sense of Krishna can do the work of all the other senses, that is Krishna. One organ of Krishna, anganiyasya sakalendriya vritti mante. That is Krishna. So
Yeah.
you once you satisfy any sense of Krishna, it is not that you are particularly satisfying that sense, but you are overall satisfying Krishna by offering garland. If you offer garland onto Krishna's neck, and beautiful garland sits, Bharati Mataji is doing that service in manner apart from other services. When you offer garland to Krishna, you it's not that you are not pleasing other senses of Krishna. Our what I meant to say is our goal is to please the senses of Krishna, not ours. When Krishna is pleased, it is like watering the root of the tree. When the root is watered, the branches get nourished. So when Krishna's senses are pleased, we get pleasure. That's what I is that does that answer your question, Surya Prabhu?
Yes, Prabhu. Thank you.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah, please go ahead.
No, thank you, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So, does anybody have any points to add, or we can move to 22? So it seems everyone is happy. So we will move to text 22. Sundari Mataji is going to read out everything from 22.
Okay. Hare Krishna. ये हि सम्पर्शजा भोगा दुःखावयोनाय एव ते अध्यन्तवन्त कौन्तेय नातेषु रमते बुधा. Yea, those he certainly samparshja by contact with material senses, bhoga enjoyments, dukhas distress, yona source of, eva certainly they are, adi beginning, anta end, vanta yet to, konteya O son of Kunti, na never, tesu in those, vramte take delight, buddha the intelligent person. An intelligent person does not take part in source of misery, which are due to contact with the material senses, O son of Kunti. Such pleasures have a beginning and an end, and so the wise man does not delight in them. Material sense pleasures are due to the contact of material senses, which are all temporary because the body itself is temporary. A liberated soul is not interested in anything which is temporary. Knowing well the joys of transcendental pleasures, how can a liberated soul agree to enjoy false pleasures? In Padma Purana, it is said, Ramante yogino nante satyanande chidatmani iti rama padin sheo param brahma vidyate. The mystics drive unlimited transcendental pleasures from the absolute truth, and therefore the supreme absolute truth, the personality of Godhead, is known as Rama. In Shrimad Bhagavatam also it is said, Nayam deho deha bhajam narloke kashtam kaman arhete vidbuje bujam te ye apo divyam putra kayena sattvam sushrutyadeyas mad brahma sokyam tava anantam. My dear sons, there is no reason to labor very hard for sense pleasures while in this human form of life. Such pleasures are available to stool-eater hogs. Rather, you should undergo penances in life by which your existence will be purified. As a result, you will be able to enjoy unlimited transcendental bliss. Therefore, those who are true yogis or learned transcendentalists are not attracted by sense pleasures, which are the cause of continuous material existence. The more one is addicted to material pleasures, the more he is entrapped by material miseries. So I have written few notes from this verse. As this body is temporary, so the material sense pleasures are temporary as they arise due to the contact of material senses. And a liberated soul knows how to relish the transcendental pleasures of the absolute truth. So they don't get entangled with these temporary material sense pleasures. The more one is addicted to material pleasures, and the more he is entrapped by material miseries. The yogis are not attracted by sense pleasures. So the last one is in Srimad Bhagavatam, it is said that we don't have any reason to do any hard work for sense pleasures while in this human form of life, as these are available to the hogs as well. So rather we should do austerity by which one's existence will be purified. As a result, we will enjoy the unlimited transcendental bliss.
Thank you so much, Mataji. Really,
Thank you.
have you finished all your points, Mataji?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Thank you
Yes.
so much. I really appreciate. We have been doing very well, and I just would like to share. When a devotee speaks, my realization is this devotee is saying something directly to me. That's the mood we have to listen to a devotee. When devotee is speaking, rather than judging, he could have added this, he's missing this, she's missing this. We have to try, because this spiritual knowledge has no limit. You cannot say everything in 10-20 minutes or 1 hour, 2 hours, even in 3 months. Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Maharaj gave a lecture on Srimad Bhagavatam, text 1 of Canto 1, chapter 1, text 1, for several weeks, 3 months, something like that. From one verse. And still, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Maharaj said that I could have said more, but you may not be able to grasp. So I will stop after giving lectures for several months from one verse. So, what to speak of us and what to speak of short duration of time. But when a devotee speaks, we have to hear in such a way that this message is personally to me. And I would like to share a comment by Sutapa Prabhu. Sutapa Prabhu said, whenever devotee speaks, we have to pray to Krishna, Krishna, please let me understand, hear, learn something from this devotee. Whatever I need to learn, that's the mood we should be hearing from a devotee. And His Grace Amarendra Prabhu, I'd like to, because by presenting advanced devotees examples we can learn. Amarendra Prabhu said that when we read every translation, every purport of Srila Prabhupada, we have to treat these translations and purports that they are meant directly, personally to me. And he said, Amarendra Prabhu said that at the beginning of the purport, write, my dear Anil Prabhu, my dear Anil, please accept my blessings. Prabhupada is writing there, my dear Dharmabir, my dear Bharati, please accept my blessings, and read out the purport. You don't write like that, but you should have that mentality. Prabhupada is sending personal letters to me via these purports. These purports Prabhupada directly wrote to me. If we read that way, if we hear the way I mentioned, as Sutapa Prabhu said, then it is very effective. We learn something. And I'm just sharing. Thank you so much. It's very encouraging. although we said reading 5 times, making notes, time and commitments may not allow, it doesn't have to be, but at least we can try our best. Okay, so now text. Does any other Bharti Mataji? We haven't, we didn't allocate verse to you, but would you like to say anything?
Um, trying to get the mute off.
Yes, I have unmuted you.
Okay. Oh, thank you, Prabhu. No, Prabhu, I'm fine. I kind of happened to just finish what I was doing, so I thought I'll join in today. But I'm quite happy with what you're reading. It's amazing. Thank you so much, everybody. I'm really enjoying it. So,
Thank you so much. That's great. I don't see hands raised, and I don't see anybody trying to say. If you have to say, if you find difficulty to raise hands, please just unmute yourself and feel free to interrupt if you have questions or comment. Surya Prabhu, is there any questions? Surya Prabhu?
Nice, very nice verse. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you, Prabhu. So we will move on. 24 is mine. Okay. Because we haven't allocated any verse to Bharti Mataji, she's joining us after a long time. I'd like to pass this verse to Bharti Mataji, if that's okay. If you would like, if you, yeah, I know you are very eager. I'm sure you don't mind. So, would you like to take this verse?
I'll read.
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Prabhu. So I haven't studied this verse just yet, but you can elaborate on it. Bhagavad Gita, chapter 5, verse 23. Shakno Shaknoti heva yasodam
Oh, sorry,
praksharite.
Mataji, I beg your pardon. It is sorry, I made a mistake. It is Anil Prabhu's verse.
Okay.
You will read 24, which is mine. It is
Okay.
23 is Anil Prabhu's. It's my mistake. Sorry about that.
Okay. Hari.
Anil Prabhu, sorry, this is your verse.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, I have no objection if Bharti Mataji elaborates this verse. It's very nice. So kind of,
But
it's all Krishna's planning.
it is so humility. You are so humble. Because you are humble, I realized, I double checked, and Krishna arranged. You are so humble. You didn't interrupt. You let it go. Whatever happened, that's very nice. Sorry, it is my mistake.
No, it's okay, Prabhuji. Hare
Prabhu, Anil Prabhu, please read this verse. I'd like to hear it from you.
Okay, Mataji, thank you.
Bharati
So,
Mataji will take 24, which was for me. So Bharati Mataji will take 24.
okay, Hare Krishna. Shaknoti have yah sodum prak sharira vimokshanaat काम क्रोध उद्भवम वेगम सयुक्तः स सुखी नरः शक्नोति is able iha ev in the present body yah one who sodum to tolerate prak before sharira the body vimokshanti vimokshanat giving up kama desire krodha and anger udbhavam generated from vegam urges sah he yukta in trance sah he sukhi happy nara human being. Before giving up this present body, if one is able to tolerate the urges of the material senses and check the force of desire and anger, he is well situated and is happy in this world. Purport by His Grace Shri Srila Bhakti
Vedanta.
Vedanta Swami Prabhupada, if one wants to make a steady progress on the path of self-realization, he must try to control the forces of material senses. There are the forces of the there are the forces of talk, forces of anger, forces of mind, forces of the stomach, forces of the genitals, and forces of the tongue. One who is able to control the forces of all these different senses and the mind is called Goswami or Swami. Such Goswamis live strictly controlled life and forego altogether the forces of the senses. Material desires, when unsatiated, generate anger, and thus the mind, eyes, and chest become agitated. Therefore, one must practice to control them before one gives up this material body. One who can do this is understood to be self-realized and is thus happy in the state of self-realization.
Mhm.
It is the duty of the transcendentalist to try strenuously to control desire and anger. Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
This verse is actually related to all the previous verses we have been reading about in this chapter 5. This finally says that while we are living without before the death, if we can control within this body, we can control our senses, we can control the desire to please our senses. Like you just explained very beautifully that we should not try to please our senses, we rather should try to please the Lord's senses. So if one can do this while in this body, he is a liberated soul. Even in this world, in this material world, he is spiritualist. He is fully liberated. Hare Krishna.
Th- Thank you so much, Anil Prabhu. And by the way, these verses from 18, they describe, all these verses describe about symptoms of the liberated souls. Some of the symptoms are established in sameness, sthira buddhi, and they neither, as Anil Prabhu says, and all these verses indicate, they neither, the liberated souls neither rejoices or lament, and they are not bewildered, and they know the science of God. If you are not bewildered, if you don't lament, but if you don't know the science of God, there is no point. They know the science of God, and they are not attracted to material sense pleasure, and they don't. Sorry, and finally they enjoy pleasure within. About in this context, I would like to share a shloka from Nectar of Instruction. Can everybody see this shloka?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Um, can you see this from Nectar of Instruction? NOI 1.
Yeah.
Yes,
This
we
is,
can.
if anybody is not able to see, please, this is from Nectar of Instructions, text 1. Vacho.
Prabhuji, oh, I'm really sorry.
Oh,
I was
sorry.
just going to suggest that we can even enlarge it if you can't see it. Sorry, I shouldn't have interrupted.
How
Yeah. Thank you.
is it? Is it better?
Yes,
Okay, sure.
thank you.
Thank you. So I have just brought the screen toward the left so that it is not covered by the picture. Is it still visible clearly?
Yes, Prabhuji.
So this is the text one from Nectar of Instruction, written by Srila Rupa Goswami. Um, Vacho vegam manasah krodha vegam jivva vegam udarupastha vegam etan vegan yo vishayeta dhiraha sarvam apimam prithivim sashishyat. The translation is, I have a sober person who can tolerate the urge to speak, the mind's demands, the actions of anger and the urges of the tongue, belly and genitals, is qualified to make disciples all over the world. So if anybody wants to be a guru, these are the prerequisite. And the urge to speak is the urge to speak about Donald Trump. He did this, or something like that. Mundane things. We like to talk, but we don't want to chant Hare Krishna Mahamantra. Prabhupada in the purport says, when we have the urge to speak, rather than controlling that urge, let the urge to speak to be used for Krishna. Speak about Krishna. If somebody wants to become angry, that person, anger can be used for Krishna, and tongue, belly, genitals, all these can be used for Krishna. Tongue, by in two ways, by vibrating the holy name and by eating the Krishna prasadam. Belly also same. Genitals, we the main function of genitals is to procreate Krishna conscious children. Devotees, ideally, they chant 50 rounds or so. They pray to Krishna. They request Krishna to give a soul, devotee soul. That's how they procreate. That's how genitals supposed to be used. If we do this, then that person is qualified to make disciples all over the world. I will stop sharing this one. Does anybody have anything to add? Okay. So, if you have anything to say, please unmute and say. Otherwise, we will move on. Krishnavani Mataji and Umapati Prabhu, is there anything, any point you wanted to add?
Fine. Yeah, clear. Okay. That's fine.
Sure, sure. Okay. So, as we said, Bharati Mataji is going to read 24, please. So you have to begin. You just unmuted.
Okay. Muting. Okay, can you hear me?
Yes, yes.
Okay, thank you. Text 24. Yonata Shuko Nata Aramas Tatanta Jyoti Evayaha Sa Yogi Brahma Nirvanam Brahma Bhuto Digachati. Yeah, one who. Anta Shukha, happy from within. Anta Arama, actively enjoying within. Tatha, as well as. Anta Jyotir, aiming within. Eva, certainly. Ya, anyone. Sa, he, yogi, a mystic. Brahma, nirvanam, liberation in the supreme. Brahma bhuta, being self-realized. Adhigachati, attains. Translation: one whose happiness is within, who is active and rejoices within, and whose aim is inward, is actually the perfect mystic. He is liberated in the Supreme, and ultimately he attains the Supreme. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. Unless one is able to relish happiness from within, how can one retire from the external engagements meant for deriving superficial happiness? A liberated person enjoys happiness by factual experience. He can therefore sit silently at any place and enjoy the activities of life from within. Such a liberated person no longer desires external material happiness. This state is called Brahma Bhuta, attaining which one is assured of going back, attaining which one is assured of going back to Godhead, back to home. So from this purport, we understand that uh, who is happy from within. If you're not having any desire for material attachments, then you become happy from within. Also, an example I just came to my mind is uh, Jagannath Das Babaji. He was 120 years old, whatever. He was taking around in a basket, and he was happy from within. He had no desires for anything. All he was doing is just chanting the holy name, and he had very little clothes to wear. If he wanted to take darshan of the lords, there to lift his eyelids up physically so he can take darshan of the lords. And yet, when they took him to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's birthplace, if I'm right, it is his birthplace. He just jumped out of his basket and started jumping around with joy because he knew this was a place where Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was born. Again, going back to happiness from within, for him, that was his happiness, knowing where Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was born. He could sense it. This is where it was. Likewise for us, if we can just control our senses more and attach ourselves to Krishna, be happy with whatever Krishna has given us, and have that internal happiness, then we won't have to. Krishna will surely help us go back to Godhead.
Mhm. That's amazing. And does anybody would like to add anything? There is a verse, Brahma Bhuta Prasannatma na sochati na kanchati. The one who is situated on the transcendental platform, he na sochati, he doesn't desire, na kanchati, and he doesn't lament. Sorry, na sochati means he doesn't lament. Na kanchati means he doesn't desire. Desiring, these are for material um, things. Desiring for material things and lamenting for material things are not done by the personalities who are situated in the transcendental platform. One best example, as Bharti Mataji gave, that's beautiful, perfect example. And just to add one example, there are thousands of examples anyway. We don't know all of them, but this is just an excuse to add one example. Srila Prabhupada, when he was traveling to the Western country, he had 2 heart attacks within 2 days. And his mood, service, love for Krishna was same as the other times when he was healthy, fit, he was doing well. When he had heart attacks twice, he did never ask Krishna, why are you doing this to me? I'm going to the Western world to preach. I'm following the instructions of your devotee, my Guru Maharaj, and that's why I'm going to the West. Why are you doing this to me? Srila Prabhupada never asked that question. He was his devotion, love, of course, it was not reduced even slightly. But rather, every time adversities came, Srila Prabhupada took it as Krishna's mercy. Every time. That's what the pure devotees do. So that's amazing example. Thank you so much. Does anybody would like to quickly add any points here? If not, we will end here today because some devotees have to go to work tomorrow and have other commitments. So we will end here. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare
Hare Krishna Prabhu, Dandavat Pranam.
Dandavat Pranam Prabhu. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Umapati Prabhu.
Hare Bol.
Hare Hare Bol. Hare Krishna.